Nike is the biggest sportswear brand in the world. They earn almost $120 million every day. World-class athletes like Ronaldo and Rafael Nadal use their products. But can you believe that the person who built Nike was a failed athlete himself? And he started his business by selling shoes from his car's trunk. This is the story of Nike's founder, Phil Knight. Phil Knight was born in 1938 in a small town called Portland, USA. He was a fast runner from a young age, and his ultimate dream was to become a great athlete. He worked hard on his running in school and college, winning many races. Alongside running, Phil continued his education, completing his MBA in 1962. He still wanted to continue running. But one morning, during his practice run, he faced reality. Despite dedicating his youth to running and becoming one of the best athletes in his state, he couldn't reach the national or international level. He was good, but not great. At 24 years old, with no scope for improvement, Phil had to accept the end of his athletic career. Though he failed in his dream of becoming an elite athlete, he still wanted to stay connected to sports. As a runner, Phil had a deep connection to running shoes, which led him to pursue the shoe business. Phil remembered a detailed research paper he wrote during his MBA about the running shoe industry. He discovered that Japanese camera companies had disrupted the American camera market with better quality and lower prices. According to his research, Japanese shoes could similarly disrupt the US market and potentially overtake giants like Adidas and Puma. Starting a business based on this college project was a big risk, but Phil had no other option. He decided to import Tiger brand shoes from Japan and sell them in the US. The Japanese company Onitsuka manufactured these Tiger shoes. Phil collected his savings and flew to Japan. Once there, he called Onitsuka's office and secured an appointment. Nervous but determined, he met with Onitsuka executives. When asked about his company, Phil improvised. He recalled the blue ribbons he had won in races and told them his company was called Blue Ribbon Sports. Although no such company existed, Onitsuka executives were impressed. Phil presented his research paper during the meeting. Onitsuka employees were so impressed that they offered Blue Ribbon the rights to sell Tiger shoes in America. Phil transferred the money for the samples and returned home to wait. 4 months passed without receiving the shoes. Onitsuka assured him they would arrive soon, but nothing happened. Needing income, Phil took a job as an accountant at a small firm. Nearly a year later, he finally received a notice from customs. 12 pairs of Tiger shoes had arrived. Phil showed the shoes to his college coach, Bill Bowerman, who loved them. The next day, Bowerman offered to become a 50% partner in Phil's business. Known for his obsession with shoe design, Bowerman frequently modified his athletes' shoes to improve performance. For Phil and other runners, Bowerman was a godlike figure. Partnering with him was a no-brainer. Phil wrote to Onitsuka, requesting exclusive distributorship rights for the Western US. He placed his first order for 300 shoes, totaling $1,000. This time, the shoes arrived on schedule. Phil quit his accounting job to focus on Blue Ribbon Sports full-time. He stored the shoes in his parents' basement, which became Blue Ribbon's first office. However, sports shops refused to stock Tiger shoes, forcing Phil to sell them directly at athletic competitions. Filling his car with shoe boxes, he pitched them to athletes, coaches, and spectators after races. To his surprise, the shoes sold quickly. In just 2 months, Phil sold the initial 300 pairs and ordered 900 more. However, with profits of only $2,000 and the new order costing $3,000, Phil took out his first $1,000 loan. With business booming, Blue Ribbon was on the rise. But then, a wrestling coach claimed Onitsuka had given him exclusive distributorship rights for all of America. Phil's business was at risk. He immediately wrote to Onitsuka for clarification, but received no response. Determined to save his business, Phil flew to Japan to confront Onitsuka directly. During the meeting, Phil passionately defended Blue Ribbon's performance and future plans. The next day, he met Mr. Onitsuka himself, who reinstated Blue Ribbon's distributorship rights for the Western US. By the end of the first year, Blue Ribbon had sold $8,000 worth of shoes. To expand, Phil hired Jeff Johnson, an equally passionate athlete, as his first salesman. Sales doubled, but rapid growth caused cash flow problems. Despite reinvesting profits, Blue Ribbon needed more capital, forcing Phil to take another accounting job at PwC. Meanwhile, Bowerman was developing new shoe designs tailored for Americans. His breakthrough design, the Cortez, became an instant hit. With Phil's management and Bowerman's designs, Tiger shoes soared in popularity. By 1971, Blue Ribbon's sales reached $1.3 million, but Onitsuka, eager to capitalize on their success, demanded a controlling stake in Blue Ribbon. Feeling betrayed, Phil decided to sever ties and create his own brand. Phil and his team brainstormed names and logos. Graphic designer Carolyn Davidson created the iconic Nike swoosh, for which Phil paid her $35. Inspired by the Greek goddess of victory, they named the brand Nike. In 1971, Nike officially launched. To compete with giants like Adidas and Puma, Phil signed Steve Prefontaine, a top runner, for $5,000 annually to endorse Nike. This marked the beginning of athlete endorsements in marketing. Nike's growth exploded. By 1980, Nike had 2,700 employees and $270 million in sales, surpassing Adidas to become the top athletic shoe brand in the US. However, by the mid-1980s, Reebok overtook Nike by focusing on style and fashion, an area Nike overlooked. Nike lost market share until they signed Michael Jordan. The launch of Air Jordan transformed Nike, blending performance with bold style and igniting sneaker culture worldwide. In the first year alone, Air Jordans generated $100 million in sales, catapulting Nike past Reebok. Nike's global expansion followed, solidifying its place as the world's leading sportswear brand. Phil Knight's story teaches the power of perseverance and execution. As Phil wrote in his memoir, Shoe Dog, "Let everyone else call your idea crazy. Just keep going. Don't stop. Don't even think about stopping until you get there." Nike's tagline says it best: just do it.